Hello there, fellow laborers. Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to Humanica. Episode 3, Modifying Terrain for Farming and Protection. Alright, our scouts have gotten to where they want, so we hit Explore, and we get a annual plan for Mesolithic and a technology point. Take. There is a settlement over here and a ruin over there. Let's go to this ruin, then that settlement, and then back home. Alright, primitive workshop. You stopped making slings because we don't have stones. Alright. That seems to be a me problem. There's stones over here, but that's kind of far. Where be thy stone? Oh, here's some. And this is an effort, of course, to try to unlock bow tech. So here's foundations. Done. So what foundations do, it's a structure, and you can build, well, if I had the logs for it, I don't at the moment. If I had the logs for it, you can build a foundation to be able to utilize the sloped sections of the map. Which at the moment, I'm not really hard-pressed on real estate. It's not like I have any, like, zoning pressure, so I don't really need to implement that at the moment. Oh, and fishing is done. Sweet. So with fishing, we go to the extraction tab, fishing hut, and fish are a renewable resource, and the fishermen gather within their sphere of influence. So let's put a fishing hut here, and I can't quite get all of them here. So we have fish as a new food resource, and given that we are adding fish to our diet, I'll add another food dryer here for fish, so that we dry fish as well as our another tab. And we're getting some immigration, so we're up to 23, and we have some empty homes, so I expect more to come soon. With our population going up a little bit, I'm going to add another hunter. And it looks like our millstone has milled up all 10 flour, and we just have yet to bake 2 bread. So we're getting pretty close to the requirements for agriculture. We still need the clay pots. Obviously, our potter's still working on it. And then the technology research that our scouts have, and then sticks. But, like, most of the requirements for that are being met. So the big focus right now is to fulfill the requirement for bows. I would love to have access to bows. So, prioritizing more branch heaps. I'm not low, but I will be soon. And we also have 1.6k prosperity. So we take a look at the, we have 4 months remaining on our current plan, but we can do the law of faster crafting. Done! And then the next one in the Mesolithic era is labor succession. Basically, if a worker dies, someone replaces them, so that there's an auto-employment thing. So, like, if, let's say, Mundenal here croaks as our tailor, who's currently not doing anything, because that's entirely my fault. If she croaks as a tailor, someone will fill her spot. Okay. Explore, another tech point, and another Mesolithic plan. And the last one I'm going to go to is the neighboring settlement, where you meet the head and maybe you get something useful as a gift. Doing some civic visiting. Alright, into another winter. Another animal's born. That is another dog for hunters. So there we go. And I'll employ another hunter. Early on, you're very, like, like, eventually you can cultivate flax and, animal husbandry for sheep, for wool and linen. But early on, obviously, it's like pelts, 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 pelts. So having a bunch of hunters help with the pelts, super, super useful. I think someone ate raw grain, flour, which is allowed. So I need to grind up one more for the last bread required for agriculture. And it's winter, so there's really not else to do, but winter, in my opinion, is a great time to do like large-scale projects because a lot of your just sort of a lot of your gatherers won't have a lot of gathering tasks to do, which is a great time to build and expand and the like. And kill mammoths. So here, as you can see, the dogs are pursuing the mammoth with the hunters. And one of the hunters has a few of them have slings, which gives them a range attack. 3 of them have slings. Great to handy stuff. Alright, the agriculture requirements are fulfilled other than clay pots, which we're currently working on. And then for bows, we need to make 9 more slings. Good stuff. Oh, I didn't realize there was clay literally next to my hut here. Nice. Okay, let's continue to increase our population. 3 more houses should do to bring us up to the 30 we need. And yeah, I mean, come on. Aren't you like a swole Chad caveman? Like, can't you just lift a mammoth on your own? Obviously. Obviously they can haul mammoths around. I mean, I can. Because apparently I'm a kaiju or something. Nope, enemies, speaking of which. Oh, speaking of mammoths. So the rabbit stuff is worth like a fraction of its non-rabbit counterparts. So this is worth a third of what the hunted ones would be worth. If I could click. So 1223 or 411. But regardless, it's still worth killing. We also have these 2 new fishing huts that we built and didn't employ people. One of the important reasons to do fishing early on, fishing leads to dirt roads as soon as you acquire 100 fish. And dirt roads is great for like city planning, so that's one of the reasons why I want to get fishing early. Weird that I would say that, because anyone that is familiar with my channel knows I hate fishing as kind of a joke. Alright, you, Inor. No, I just want Inor, not the rest of you. Inor. Run. Inor, run really far away. Now that we have slings, the kiting strategy is a lot more valid, because, like, before, we couldn't catch the thing chasing the victim, but now that's very much not the case. Am I kaiju number 9? Yes. I work for the Defense Force. Settlers are freezing. Oh, that's my fault. Tailor, go back to making clothing, and then likewise, let's get another tailor hut. And stick it, here. Okay, we are at the neighboring settlement, and they gave us flax seeds and tech knowledge. So the path I take home is going to be discovery, the path of discovery rather than the quickest path, to reveal more tiles. But now we're going to send our scouts back home to drop off all the stuff they've earned. We've got 5 months of food, lots of prosperity. The next thing I'm going to save up for is labor succession, which is the Mesolithic law that I have yet to enact. All right, another tailor. And this tailor is just going to perpetually do clothing as well. We also have 24 of the 30 pots required for agriculture, so I'm getting pretty close. So taking a look at that. I've got all the bread, all the wheat, 24 of 30 pots, all the baskets. Cool. Won't be long now. And hopefully we get some immigration, because we have a bunch of empty houses. Can't set enough bonfires. Yep, that's totally my fault. Here's another bonfire. So no immigration tick just yet. Looking forwards, in order to unlock copper tools, we will need bone knives and bone spears to have been made. So once we get 2 more slings made, we'll start working towards like copper stuff. Assuming that the slings aren't used, because for the bows we need 10 slings available, 20 ever made. So we might need to make a few extra slings to allow for bow tech, and that is the last Mesolithic tech to unlock, which shouldn't be too hard. Let's see, cutting down. I'm gonna, oh nope, those are fruit trees. One of the really nice things is like trees that yield have 1 wood. Poplar trees have 2. So even in the winter, you can tell, oh, these are hazel trees. I don't want to cut those down, because, like, they're going to be pretty useful much later on. But, like, the poplar trees, no problem. I can sow those pretty soon, so cutting them down, no big issue. Alright, we have 11 spare clothing, so I'm going to start to tell this person to make a mix of baskets and wicker baskets, or backpacks, and 1 on pelt clothing. And our explorers have found a carrot glade again, so now that they've explored there, I'm just going to go the quickest path back home, because we've revealed even more of the map. Alright, come on, immigration. Annual plan. Let's do another quick mover. Annual plan. Which doesn't, as far as I'm aware, apply to, scouts, right? It's, that annual plan is for people present in the colony. It's not to, like, your scout team, as far as I'm aware. Start to collect the wild crop around. And we are, oh, here's bows. Ba-boom. So all Mesolithic tech is done. So the next one is to unlock... oh, that's not how to spell that. Unlock agriculture. Now with agriculture, I also think that landscape editing would be very useful to be able to make good use of, like, the ground that we have. Which means I'm going to want more... Now we have bows, I'm actually, interestingly, going to... unlock agriculture and... Oops, sorry. Hit my mic. Landscape. I think that's going to be more important. So I'm going to pivot and start making axes instead of bone knives and bone spears, because the landscape editing requires 10 stone axes to be sacrificed, essentially. And then the more stone axes I make now, the more logs I'll be able to cut down in earning it. Mostly because my map RNG, because I didn't want to have to reroll over and over, I don't have a lot of flat ground. So I could do terraced farming, like rice paddies, but I wouldn't. There's not like a nice flat open area for a decent amount of farming here, which is why I really want landscape editing. I think it will help lay out our farm fields more logically, and also it's absolutely crucial for base defense. Basically, the buildings, the structures that you can build here in the defensive structure tree, the log gate stockades and defensive stockades are destructible. Terrain isn't. So if you modify the terrain to allow you to have like some sort of terrain wall of 2 tiers or higher, and we'll get there once I get there. That is an indestructible colony defense, which allows you to control the flow of the attack on your colony, which is great. Another thing I'm going to do is these people that live in the simple huts, not the more prosperity huts, I'm going to force swap houses. Because I'm waiting on immigration, but like I might as well get as much prosperity as I can from the people that live here. I don't know why I can't put her in there, though. She was just like, no, I don't want to live with that guy. He smells. Yeah, no one will... What's wrong with you? Is Annette? No one wants to live there. Whatever, I don't care. He stinks, obviously. And then the other thing we're going to need for agriculture is more stick collection. We're low, we're down to 20, so let's bolster that. And our scouts are maybe like 2 or 3 months away from returning. I'm going to call them months because they're functionally months rather than days. Ooh, gifted resources. Stone spears and what was that? I didn't even see. Maybe clay pots? We now have enough clay pots. I'm just going to keep getting clay pots because there's a lot more. There's a lot of other things needed for clay pots. So if we look ahead, vegetable cultivation requires clay pots. Flax requires clay pots. You know, animal husbandry requires clay pots. So there's a reason to build up a bit of a supply of clay pots. They're not actively used for like cooking or anything. They're used for like technological advances. So, gathering them and crafting them ahead of time slowly, rather than having to build like a bunch of pottery huts and like blitz it, makes a lot more sense. The other thing we're passively working towards is the statistics for fish. So once we catch, 78 more fish, we'll be able to do dirt roads. And our population has hit 30 now. We did get people moving in those houses. 6 new people have moved in. So all we need to do is get agriculture. Swink. And we are almost 2/3 of the way to getting the terrain editing unlocked. Uh-oh. Well, there goes that hut. Not my fault. I didn't burn it. Alright, the scouts are definitely going to be home sometime tomorrow. And that will allow us to tech up to the Neolithic era. And knowing that I'm really close to agriculture, I am going to grab all of the wheat that is nearby the colony It's not going to be of much benefit to me this season because it's already May. It's like too late to really start to cultivate farm fields. But next season, surely. So here we are. Now that we are back, our scouts are back, I just hit enter and they re-enter. And you can see up here, I have 2 more annual plans for Mesolithic and then 3 technology knowledge. So the technology knowledge is required to unlock new technologies. So copper tools cost 1. Agriculture costs 1. What else is in here that costs 1? Flax, animal husbandry costs 1. Primitive metallurgy costs 1, so on and so forth. So they're very, very handy to get. I do want to immediately send the scouts back out. Also worth noting, the scouts have a limited inventory. They have a capacity of 48 and only 6 slots for it. So you don't necessarily want to fill up your scouts, you know, and then keep exploring, because obviously there's not much benefit. And then for the annual plan, the Mesolithic plans, I am going to hold on to them because I'm going to exchange them for Neolithic ones. I could spend them, it doesn't really matter, but because we're about to enter Neolithic, all that is required at the moment is for me to collect a few more sticks, we'll unlock agriculture, and enter the Neolithic era. Not enough space in the warehouse. Oh, I am full up on clay stuff. Let's fire you for now. And then put another storage hut here. Copy, paste. Some of that is just we've been collecting a lot of clay. And clay is a very useful building material, especially when you start thatching. But don't worry about that. That comes a bit later on. Alright, here we go. Landscape editing. Done. Oh, we must have used an axe while I was... Yeah, we used an axe while I was staring at it. And then the other one, of course, was agriculture. So, now that we have agriculture, we want to start laying out farm fields. And before I do that, what I want to do is to get landscape editing so that I can, like, start designing a defensible colony as we progress. And I'm not going to worry about the growing wheat part right now because, oh, that's weird. Let me try to fix that, like, clipping issue. Yeah, I'm not going to worry about that right now because you would be sowing the fields in the spring and it's already a bit too late this season for that. So as soon as we get, like, 1 more axe, we'll be able to get landscape editing, and then I can start sculpting the terrain to suit my needs. What'd you gift? Stone knives, raw meat, honey. Nice. So we can now plant poplar trees, garden beds, and a farm hut. And even though we don't immediately... I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick my farm hut here for now, because this farm hut's going to allow us to make wheat seeds out of the wheat we have. And then I'll start to prepare the terrain editing for next season's harvest. So here we go, landscape editing. So what this allows you to do is it allows you to raise and lower the landscape. And I want to actually start terrain editing for farming and defense. So this is very labor intensive, mind you. But I think what I want to do is I want to start designing defenses for our town. So any terrain deviation that is 2 or greater forms this wall that is impassable without the use of ladders, which raiders will not have. So I'm having the entryway to our colony be this here, which faces the clay and fish. And what I want to do is I want to carve out in the terrain an area for us to live. Now this is going to be very labor intensive, requiring a lot of people. So to that end, I'm also going to try to expand our population, provided that I can feed them. You know, it predicates upon our food production rate. Because if I can't feed them, then yeah, we're going to have some problems. Ooh, another settlement that our scouts found. So as you can see, we've got people coming into the tiles that I want to landscape edit, and they are working on modifying the layer. And you can see it's going like up 1, up 3, up 3, up 2, up 2, up 2, up 2, and that's going to form like a land wall. That's the idea. And essentially I want to flatten out the terrain back here. Now the only requirement for this is the tile has to be empty. So like I can lower here, but I can't lower here because there's stuff on it. There's wild cabbage here. So if I truly want to flatten this out, I'm also going to have to destroy into the natural resources that are present on the tile. And here's our farming hut. So for the farming hut, what I want the farmer to do is to take 2 wheat and turn it into 1 seed. We have 71, so that will give me 35 seeds to plant next year for farming, which is a very generous amount. Boom! And you can see, landscape editing underway. And the goal is to sort of flatten everything out and have everything kind of be the average would be the town hall's lair, which is a lofty goal. It's going to be a lot of labor, but I want to do it. Might not be smart, but I want to do it anyway. All right. According to the game, I need another bonfire, so I'm going to stick this here. And I've already produced 4 wheat seeds, but I'm just going to want to keep producing wheat seeds and then also keep gathering it. I essentially want to grow as much wheat as I can next spring. So as many seeds and as much wheat as I can harvest now will give me a huge jump start later. For laws, here's labor succession. Done. And then, my annual plans here will run out in 8 days, or months, or whatever. So, what we can do is, I can get a new plan by spending a blueprint, but I don't have any Neolithic blueprints, but what I can do is I can also get a blueprint by spending 2 blueprints or 2 plans from the previous age. So, I just burned the 2 Mesolithic plans I knew, and the 2 blueprints I had for 2 Neolithic prints. So here we go. We'll get quick food extraction and precise food extraction. I did not get a villager movement speed. So if we want that, I would need to find more plans out on the world map. Basically. And here, as you can see, the cliff. The cliff that we want. In fact, because this is a butts land or water, I don't even need it that high. Because units won't be able to climb up. Glorious. And also keep in mind, raiders will, like, burn down anything they're near when you're defending your colony. So, if you are designing a colony to have a singular entrance, be careful about placing high-value buildings near the entryway, because raiders are very likely to just scorch earth on their approach. Okay, we got more flax seeds. Not what I was hoping for, but sure. And enemy approaching. Got a whole bunch of mammoth. Yo, what are you doing? Move. You want to be mammoth squished? Stay right there and do nothing, and that will happen. Unfortunately, I don't have armor, so there's no one to put, like, out front who's better equipped than anyone else. Eventually, you'll end up getting, like, weapons and armor and stuff like that, allowing you to have tanks, so to speak. I don't see a single person. Oleg is maybe the most wounded. But there was no, like, singular target for all the woolly mammoths to try to murder me about. Cool. So, we passed that. Flying colors. And we're going to continue to manipulate the surrounding terrain to form a land wall. So that we can easily defend ourselves. Which also means destroying things like the wild wheat here that is physically in the way. Or cutting down any trees that are physically in the way. So it's very labor intensive, but it's worth my time and effort, for sure. Okay. We've got vegetable cultivation. Before we... Actually, how close am I to getting veg cultivation? 10 baskets and 12 more wheat with more prosperity. Sure. Let's get the baskets. I am out of sticks for baskets. That's what's going on. Okay. And then the primitive workshop. I will start to automake bows forever. Actually, let's... Because I have bones, but I don't have sticks. Let's make some bone harpoons, which doesn't cost any sticks, to speed up fishing, and then we'll go back to making bows. And the way it works is if I infinitely queue up bows, but have something in the queue, it will do the queue first and then the infinite. So in this case, I'll make 5 harpoons and then bows forever. That's, I suppose, how you would interpret it. And I am being told that my food warehouse is full, which is good. We have 7 months of food. That's honestly a good thing, not a bad thing. But let's go ahead and add another food store to that. And I'll make this a top priority because we don't want food to sit out and rot. I'm going to put someone back in charge of the pottery hut because we have more use for pottery now. Oh, this storage is totally full too. And a lot of what we have built right now will get, like, redesigned later on. Nothing is really all that permanent other than maybe where our town hall is, because it's not destructible. Which is why you should pick your town hall location carefully. Because if you don't like it, you can't revisit it. Our world map. We found an ancient ruin. Perfect. Hitting it up. More tech points. It'd be cool to occupy the little island in the center. Yeah, I mean, you can always re-roll your terrain until you get something that, like, suits your fancy perfectly. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to flatten everything out to a terrain level of 2. And there will be some... It won't be perfectly rectangular or anything because I'm going to have to adapt it to the surrounding materials. Oh, another Mesolithic blueprint and tech points. Let's go this way back home. Like, kind of swing south. Because I haven't really explored south of our settlement. Alright, I've got 5 days of food. Given that I'm in the fall, autumn, whatever you want to call it, we might want to do as much food collection in the immediate vicinity as possible to bolster our food supplies heading into winter. Because I can always ramp up more hunting. I'll add another hunter. But, for food variety, you know, we need to do what we can now before it becomes too late. How's the fishing biz going? We've got 66 of 100. So pretty good. So here's the entryway that I have has like these elevated peaks, so that would-be invaders have to be funneled through here, through a river through the south. Actually, I'm okay with that level. So I think what I'll do here is it's going to be easier for me to elevate the surrounding terrain so that we live in sort of like a pit rather than on a plateau. So that's sort of the concept I'm going for now. And I think what I'll do is I'll put a wheat field here. Attackers come from all sides, but what I'm doing is I'm designing it in such a way that I'm changing the terrain so they only come in through the south eventually, to minimize losses when we get attacked. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna lower here, and then raise, keep, lower, 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 collect, and then destroy. You'll start to see a wall form on the west. That's what I'm focusing on first, arbitrarily. Scouts. Nothing yet. Alright, we've got 7 months of food. Pretty good. And a lot of terrain queued up. What do we not have space for? Fish? That means we need more food storage tents. Got it. Another one coming in. That's a good problem to have. Even more food store needs. So in the spring, I am going to sow a garden bed here We have 48 wheat seeds. So this will be a tile of 40. Very high priority. And then I'll expend a little bit more up to 55. And this will be the first garden beds for wheat once next season kicks off. Thank you for tuning in to Humanica, which originally streamed live on Twitch. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you would like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you would like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhadamant.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching. Special thank you to my Twitch subscribers, Patreon patrons, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow tribesmen.